So what it seemed like to me, that Mr. Old Trump there been abusing his authority. He been abusing his authority a little bit or something now, because they just finna block all his powers from starting a war, from sending anything over there, any type of military. They finna block his power. They finna block him from doing any of that. You understand me? What he did, they say it was wrong. They say it wasn't right. This the house. They speaking. It wasn't right, man. It was unlawful. I'm gonna let y'all hear it, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a government shutdown. And we finna face another government shutdown that we don't need. We couldn't. A lot of y'all don't know how so many people was affected by the last government shutdown we just had. Now we finna have another one. Watch. Check this out, man. Listen to the news, people. I'm telling you.
The Senate is expected to vote this week on a war powers resolution that would block the U.S. from further military action against Venezuela without congressional approval. On CBS Mornings yesterday, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, who filed the bipartisan resolution, called the Trump administration's attack on Venezuela a, quote, illegal action. But House Speaker Mike Johnson pushed back.
See, they say illegal action. You know what I mean? Illegal action. You know? Meaning that shouldn't have took place. He shouldn't have done what he done it. And they saying without congressional leaders. So this man done all this and it wasn't no congressional leader votes or nothing like that, man. He in trouble, bro. That's wrong, bro. Y'all, I'm not the law. I'm showing y'all what I see. I'm just a messenger and I'm pertaining information. I'm just receiving and gaining the information from the TV, man. They ain't lying.
Illegal action. But House Speaker Mike Johnson pushed back on that claim last night.
We are not at war. We do not have U.S. armed forces in Venezuela, and we are not occupying that country. The Constitution gives Congress the power to declare war, that is true. But it also vests the President of the United States with vast authorities as Commander-in-Chief.
Let's turn now to CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey Burns. Caitlin, there will be an all Senate and House briefings tomorrow that will focus on Venezuela and the Western Hemisphere. What can we expect, and what are lawmakers saying about Speaker Johnson maintaining that we're not at war?
Yeah, Lindsay, after that briefing yesterday, pretty much fell on party lines. You heard the speaker there saying we're not at war, so we don't need Congress to weigh in. And that's by and large what we've been hearing from Republicans, except for Rand Paul, who, of course, has long been an outlier in his party. And he is the one that is co-sponsoring that war powers resolution that we'll see a vote on later this week. But tomorrow's briefing will be the first time that all lawmakers are briefed by these top administration officials, and the questions that they have are questions that we all have, which is what is the end game here? The president says that we are now running Venezuela. What exactly does that look like? When does Congress, if at all, need to get involved? Does this require congressional approval of additional funds? Are there going to be troops on the ground? These are the kinds of things that lawmakers want to know and hoping to get answers from the administration on. Does this require congressional approval of additional funds? Are there going to be troops on the ground?
So
these are the kinds of things that lawmakers
you want the
to
troops
know
on the
and
ground
hoping to get answers from the administration on.
So now, because he claiming this oil, so you want the troops on the ground. So because he claiming this oil, you claiming this oil, and y'all not even over there, and you just claiming it's yours already. You claiming it's American oil, is seized by the American people, and nobody America. We don't even know it's troops over there on the ground. But troops can't be over there on the ground because they didn't get the congressional leaders. They didn't get it voted in with the congressional leaders. So they can't just move troops how they want to move troops. Donald Trump don't have control over moving them troops like y'all think he do, or some of y'all quote unquote think he do. He's supposed to go, it's a chain of command to have those troops move. You know what I mean? And true enough, the feds, the people that they secret agency. So they doing secret stuff. You know what I mean? No congressional leader. They went over there. They did their secret plotting on this man, and they went over there secretly, and they got the man. But they saying that it ain't right. It's against the law what he done. They said it ain't right. Y'all heard it for yourself. Now we finna go on over here and get to this government shutdown though. Why? We gonna get to this government shutdown.
This require congressional approval of additional funds. Are there going to be troops on the ground? These are the kinds of things that lawmakers want to know and hoping to get answers from the administration on. But today, really the responses are Democrats very critical of these moves and what comes next, and Republicans pretty much giving trust in the administration that this was a targeted event. But of course, this comes against the backdrop of broader questions about U.S. involvement anywhere, and these questions especially as the president has, threatened incursions elsewhere as well. What comes next, and Republicans pretty much giving trust in the administration that this was a targeted event. But of course, this comes against the backdrop of broader questions about U.S. involvement anywhere, and these questions especially as the president has, threatened incursions elsewhere as well.
He always threatened.
I can't believe we're talking about this, but Congress is facing another government shutdown deadline on January 30th.
Wow.
The House is also expected to vote on extending the Affordable Care Act's enhanced tax credits. Where do these things currently stand?
We're talking about Lindsay, the to-do list for Congress starting off this year is already very long. You mentioned that government funding bill. They are starting to work through legislation. Now, while government funding runs out at the end of this month, there are funds for certain programs that will last beyond that. So we won't be in the same kind of situation that we were last year when the government shut down. For example, they've already funded through the end of the fiscal year funding for SNAP benefits or food stamps. So we won't be at that.
So y'all don't have to panic on that.
Key programs still need to be funded, and there needs to be agreement on how to do that. And when you mention healthcare, remember before the holidays, this was a key sticking point, and we saw some Republicans defect and support a longer-term extension, a 3-year extension of Obamacare enhanced subsidies. Now, there are working groups up here on Capitol Hill working on bipartisan pieces of legislation to tackle healthcare. Those subsidies have already expired. It won't be in the same kind of situation. Now, while government funding runs out at the end of this month, there are funds for certain programs that will last. We were last year when the government shut down. For example, they've already funded through the end of the fiscal year funding for SNAP benefits or food stamps. So we won't be at that kind of cliff. But nonetheless, key programs still need to be funded, and there needs to be agreement on how to do that. And when you mention healthcare, remember before the holidays, this was a key sticking point, and we saw some Republicans defect and support a longer-term extension, a 3-year extension of Obamacare enhanced subsidies. Now, there are working groups up here on Capitol Hill working on bipartisan pieces of legislation to tackle healthcare. Those subsidies have already expired. They expired at the end of last year. The question is, how do you address these rising costs? And it was interesting, Lindsay, that when the president was speaking to House Republicans at the Kennedy Center earlier today, he said that healthcare is going to be a big issue and the Republicans need to own it. So that really speaks to kind of the politics at play here. And notably, he said that they have to be flexible on the Hyde Amendment. This is an amendment that says that the federal government can't provide funds for abortion coverage. That has been a key sticking point among Republicans for supporting any of these healthcare subsidies, extending them at least. So we'll see if that moves the needle at all, but it was telling that he pinpointed healthcare as a top issue heading into the midterm.
So the bottom line to that, man, the bottom line is this. Man, he didn't have no right sending going over there getting that man. But like he said, he done racked up all these charges against this man. They saying a president cannot send another president from another country. They cannot trial him in our court. We got to learn about this stuff, bro. So the government shutdown gonna be shut down. Y'all they not gonna take the stamps away. So y'all ain't gotta panic about that. But they still finna have another government shutdown, bro. You know what I'm saying? Make, like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm new at doing the reaction videos, so, you know, I might have made a little mistake, but hey, man, you know, we got a lot to talk about. More to come.